Hello, fellow Rosarians. Thank you for joining me today. I want to try to Niff Barnes these babies. If you don't know who Niff Barnes is, I've talked about her before. She is a self-trained Rosarian like you and I, and she does amazing architectural freestanding supports with roses. So you'll see that she's got Instagram. I've seen articles written about her, and the roses are trained climbers, ramblers, and so forth, so that they have a really interesting appearance in the winter. I think that when you're bending and training our climbers, getting that lateral growth horizontally, or getting those main canes horizontally, promotes the laterals to grow so that you have more blooms. So what I want to share with you that I'm working on is I have climbers down here at the waterfront, and they're going nuts, and so I want to train them, and I practiced on this climber here. What do you need to be able to train your roses into structure? You need, of course, your clippers. I have scissors down here too because I want to cut my rope. I could certainly use my pruners. And then I have a nylon rope. You can use garden twine. Garden twine will need to be replaced every year because it breaks down. So I'm trying this nylon rope. It's a bright yellow color, which also helps you to see what's going on here. And then, of course, you need your supports. So you can use bamboo. I'm just using 4 to 5 of the green plastic stakes that you can get through Amazon. We're going to put them into a surround and then train the climber around it. So if you look here, every place that the rose is crossing another cane. So if we look here as I was crossing, I'm going to make a tight knot. This one has several knots because there's several canes as I was going along. I was doing this myself. So everywhere that you have canes crossing, you're going to support them. And if you look at this thing is not moving. The wind can go through it. We're not worried about the canes getting damaged. Canes get damaged if they are crossing one another and the wind is whipping them around. That's how they get damaged. But in this case, they're not going to be damaged because there's absolutely no movement here. I have tied it really well. So let's go ahead and get started on another climber I have, and I'm going to time lapse it after we get going so that you can see what we're doing. If we look at this climber here, you can see the canes are stretching. I've kind of let it do its thing here. We're just stretching everywhere. This is Peggy Martin, so I don't need gloves. If you are using a very thorny rose, you're going to need gloves, but in this case, I will not need them, which is great because I get to practice. All right, I am fighting with the sun right now, but what we're going to do is put in your supports here. As I mentioned, I'm using the plastic green supports that you can get in a pack on Amazon. I don't know if it comes in a 12 pack or so. I think that these are 4 foot high. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for my longest cane. Look at this. This thing is bendable and it is ready to train. So what I do is I've got my section of string. I'm bending it and making an arch across so that I have this rounded top here, and I'm going to make my first tie just to kind of get it in place. And as I've been learning how to do this, I do move things. Once I get it going, I decide that I want it in a different place. You're going to double knot it. Easy stuff to do here. And I find that with my arthritis, it's easier to have a longer section to work with than smaller, and then to come back and trim it. Okay, and I still have a piece here that I can work with. I'm going to take this one and continue looping it. I'm going to tie it down here to hold it in place. Now, I know that some of you are probably saying, Peggy Martin is a monster. She's going to need more room than that. She is, I think, 2 years old now, and so I just want to practice with her. She's an easy one to practice with because she doesn't have thorns. I will either move her or continue to find a different way to train her that will work for us. All right, let me get another piece here to keep moving around. Actually, and because I have a little bit left, I'm probably going to just let me leave this until I see what else I'm working with. And I'm going to come across here. Let's go to this one. I'm going to tie it back here. And I'm going to come back and finish cleaning up these strings after I get going and I see what my support is. I would normally tie these together, but I want to wait until I'm done with the entire thing to see if I was going to move it. I'm going to pull this one over to here. Now, one of the things that I realized as I was looking at her pictures, and that's Niff now, she's using a lot of her lateral growth to make the design, so not just using the main canes. When she needs to, she is cutting the laterals, and she's training them through the season. So I'm just starting with an initial shape here, and I'm going to put this on time lapse now so that you can just watch me building this. I think that if you were doing a rambler, something very thorny, it would be very helpful to have two people working on it. One person could be without gloves and they're tying, and one person with gloves securing or holding everything in place. I think I have my initial structure right now. So now I'm going to start seeing if I can make a little bit of a design here with the remaining canes. It'd probably be helpful to cut several of these at one time, so I'm going to cut two here. Now when she's doing it, you'll see that her form is very tight, symmetrical, the angles are the same. When she's doing a wall, she's doing spirals, so do whatever is easier for you or what appeals to you visually. I've just added another support because I realized that I want to pull this cane a little bit closer to help me get the angle that I need. I see the finish line, or the first finish line, hemming with all of the canes attached. I'm going to bend this under here so that it's secured. But I've got a nice form starting. After we get everything tied into place, if we feel like it, You know, I'm never going for perfection, but we could come back and make sure that each of these horizontals are at a similar angle, but I don't know if I'm going to have time for that. We'll see. After I get done all of my other chores to get ready for spring, we will see if I feel up to that. So I hope that you can see it's kind of starting to fall into place. Okay, so I went and grabbed some more string. We're going to clean this up in a minute. Oh, after you step away and you come back and look at it, you're like, wow, that's a lot of string. All right, so let's see. And as I'm looking at it now that we're in the final stages, I can figure out if there's anything that I want to move quickly to give it the shape and form that I'm looking for. I wonder if this will sit up here. Oh, would you look at that? If I put my spool here on the green little stake, that makes it easy. Very nice. Okay. When I looked at this from a distance, as I was walking up to it, I do really like the shape that it's going to have, and I can't wait to see it bloom the first time so that I can share that with you. So Niff, if you're watching this video, I am open to constructive criticism, and we all want to learn how to create the beautiful structures that you do. Please feel free to either reach out to me or to comment, but I will keep on practicing, and I'm sure that I will learn as I go along a few tips that I can share with everybody. I'd also be interested if Niff would tell us how long does it take her to create a structure. I'm sure that I'll look at the timestamp on this to see how long I've been working on it. I'm going to anticipate that it is a project that takes 45 minutes, maybe. And as long as you're not a perfectionist, you can at least get the initial shape and then come back and tweak it. I like this little spool here. So I'll show you in a second. I really think that this is not moving. You know, we get very high winds here. I don't want the canes whipping around at all. All right, I think that's everybody. I'm giving it a shake and I'm not seeing anything move. So I could certainly come in here now, tighten things up, move it. Are things level and going at the right angle? No, not really. But I think that this will give us a good start. So let me go ahead and clean this up, and we're just going to make the strings as short as possible to try to minimize it in the event that I want to come back and try to clean things up or move some canes around. I can do that. I'm just not sure if that is in the plan for me. Pop these in my pocket. So I really hope that you enjoyed seeing that process and how easy it is to bend climbers into a shape. I hope that you'll give it a try. And of course, I will be showing you how they look in the spring when they are in bloom, and I will adjust the sizes each year as they grow. So thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.